Congratulations, Mrs. Taylor. You won first place in the pie baking contest at the county fair.
Good morning. I'm Sandra, reporting to you live from the local county fair, where you're in for a tasty treat. Every year, bakers come to the county fair to show off their favorite pies that they've made. When most people think of pies, they think of cherry pie, pumpkin pie, and pecan pie. But this year's blue ribbon winner is very unique and original. It's called a reading pie.
A what?
Yes, you heard me correctly. It's a reading pie. Joining us here today is Mrs. Taylor, the creator of the award-winning pie. Mrs. Taylor, thank you so much for joining us here today. Can you share with us some information about how you came up with this original idea? I'd be happy to, Sandra. I really love to read books. One book that I like is called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. We all know the story about the three little pigs and how the big bad wolf was really bad. But in this story, the wolf changes our perspective and tries to change our opinion on how the wolf is really not a bad wolf at all. So sometimes the author is trying to persuade us to change our opinion on things.
When the author's purpose is to persuade you, the author is trying to get you to do something or believe what he is saying. Here are some examples. You might see it in commercials and advertisements, book and movie reviews, and books such as The True Story of the Big Bad Wolf. Here are some synonyms that you may see as the author is trying to persuade you to think a different way. Warn, help stop, encourage, advertise, convince, and gives you an opinion. Here's a paragraph that I wrote to try to persuade the reader to go do something. Do you love ice cream and chocolate? Then you should try these amazing ice cream bars. It has a hard outer chocolate shell. The inside has cool and creamy vanilla ice cream. It's so delicious. Run to your local grocery store and try one today. Notice how I highlighted some of the words in the text. These words are examples of opinions. These opinions are trying to convince you to go to the store and buy these ice cream bars. So what do you think? Are you ready to run to the grocery store to buy these ice cream bars? I know I am.
Other times I like to read nonfiction stories about people and animals. These stories inform me of facts that I want to read and learn more about as a reader.
When the author's purpose is to inform, the author is giving you information about a topic. Here are some examples: TV documentaries, recipes or how-to books, biographies, which are books about real people, nonfiction books, and magazines. Here are some synonyms that you may see when the author's purpose of a story is to inform: gives facts, instructs, teaches, tells how to, demonstrated, tells the steps. Here's a paragraph that I wrote to inform you about the history of ice cream. Ice cream was invented a long time ago. People in Greece, China, and Rome made the first frozen desserts. It was made of snow and ice flavored with honey or fruit juices. Ice cream was originally only served to the wealthy and those in power. Ice cream as we know it came to the United States in 1776 when the first ice cream parlor opened in New York City. Now everyone can enjoy it. I highlighted 1776 because it's an actual year. United States is an actual place, and originally infers that something has changed from the beginning to the end. All of these teach us information about the history of ice cream.
Finally, my favorite type of book to read is a fiction book. I like to go on the beach, take my book with me, and read it from the beginning to the end. It always entertains me.
When the author's purpose is to entertain, the author is telling a story that you will enjoy. Here are some examples: fiction books, movies and plays, riddles, and graphic novels. Here are some synonyms that you may see when the author's purpose of a story is to entertain: tells an interesting story, makes you sad, humorous, makes you laugh. Here's a paragraph that I wrote where the author's purpose is to entertain you. A king and queen lived in a castle. One day it was so hot outside that they decided they wanted a refreshing treat. The head chef went to get them some ice cream, but it was so hot outside that it melted. Luckily, the wizard came and saved the day. He waved his wand and poof, the king and queen had a tasty bowl of ice cream. Notice how I highlighted the words he waved his wand, and I could also highlight the word wizard. These are words that tell us that the story is entertaining and is not about a real situation. When I baked this pie, I decided to sprinkle a little of each type of book together to make this award-winning reading pie. Pie always helps the reader determine the author's purpose of a story. It tells us why we read them.
Okay, boys and girls, let's make things a little interesting. Let's review examples of persuade, inform, and entertain in a different way. Who likes to play pie face? I know I do. I just happen to have a game right here. Now all we need is the whipped cream. Okay, so I'm going to read you a paragraph, and you're going to determine whether or not it's an example of persuade, entertain, or inform. And if you get it right, I'm going to turn the switch, and we're going to see if I get pie-faced or not. Are you ready? All right, let's go.
Here's our first example. Sloths are mammals. They live in South America in the tropical rainforest. A sloth is the slowest moving mammal. It spends most of its time hanging upside down in trees. Is this paragraph trying to persuade, inform, or entertain the reader? That's right. It's trying to inform the reader about sloths.
Great job, boys and girls. You got the answer correct. So I'm going to turn the switch one time. Whew, I'm still safe.
Here's our next example. Gatorade is the best sports drink. There are many different flavors. It rehydrates you as you sweat. There's nothing better than drinking a cold, refreshing Gatorade after a baseball game. All athletes should drink Gatorade. What is this paragraph trying to do? Persuade, inform, or entertain you? That's right. It's trying to persuade you to go buy Gatorade. Whenever you see the words best or all, usually those are keywords that tell you that the author is trying to persuade you to think a certain way.
Amazing job. I guess I have to turn the crank. Safe again.
Here's our next example. It was snowing outside. My family decided to go sledding. We raced to the top of the hill, put our sled down, and raised our legs. Hold on tight. Whee! My heart was pounding so fast. I was the first to reach the bottom of the hill. I won! Let's race again. Is the author trying to persuade, inform, or entertain the reader? That's right. This is an example of a realistic fiction story, so it's entertaining the reader.
Wow, you're really author's purpose experts. I guess I have to turn the crank. Safe again.
Here's our next paragraph. Kids can make chocolate chip cookies. Put all the ingredients in a bowl. Stir it until everything is blended together. Use a spoon to scoop up some of the dough. Put it on the cookie sheet. Bake it in the oven until it is done. Use a spatula to put the cookie on a cooling rack so it can cool. Finally, enjoy eating your chocolate chip cookies. Is the author trying to persuade, inform, or entertain you? That's right. It's an example of a how-to paragraph, so it's trying to inform you.
You are really a superstar. Turning the crank. Oh no! I got pie in the face. Good job, boys and girls. You've done an outstanding job today learning author's purpose. Congratulations. Wow, Mrs. Taylor, you make figuring out the author's purpose of the text as easy as pie. Thanks so much, Mrs. Taylor, for sharing with us the secret recipe to author's purpose pie. Make sure to grab yourself a slice of pie every time you open up a new book, so you too can determine the author's purpose of the text that you are reading.